Welcome to episode 6, the mind games that people play within organizations. Today's topic is the controller game. I have Peter Natra with me again.
Hello.
To provide you with all the intricacies and overviews of what the controller game is all about. So let's start with that.
Yes.
What is it?
A controller is somebody who seeks to control your actions or your day-to-day movements, if you like, with no real authority, I suppose, to do that.
Okay, so why would they behave that way?
Because they want to be boss. Let's call it a spade.
Okay. Well, so what is the sort of root cause? Why do they want to be the boss?
So
what's driving them that way?
It's a fear. It's a fear that if they don't have control over certain things or people, that their worldview or their world will fall apart. So they're extremely pedantic about how things should happen, how the world around them should be, and if it doesn't suit what their worldview looks like, then they try to control that.
Correct. And so what happens is that if they have a feeling of certainty,
yes,
correct, and then outside it, if something happens like a crisis or an incident, they have no way of coping.
Correct. They have no way of coping.
Yeah.
There's no ability to bounce back, think inside, take internal responsibility, and then change the way that the game is played. It's like, today is Monday, we wear the red tie. Tomorrow is Tuesday, we wear the blue tie. Or put these shoes on, and today's high heels if you're a lady, and tomorrow is flatties.
Yes.
It's that kind of control that people need to take. Yeah, we all have certain systems, but the moment we start imposing those systems external to us, often for a gain, is the gain, then we run the risk of becoming a controller. And
correct.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
So how do colleagues feel about it when they are in the presence of someone who's trying to either control them or someone else?
Well, it depends on whether they're an independent or an enabler.
Okay. Yes.
So I'm not sure, but I think we've all, many of us will have seen the Police Academy movies. And the obvious controller in that is the character Mauser, and his enabler is Proctor.
Yes.
And they bounce off each other, and they internally agree that this is the way things must be.
Yes.
And then they proceed to roll that out, or attempt to roll that out to everybody around them, who in the series that can lead to some very comic consequences. In real life, it can lead to some very dramatic consequences. But a controller is looking for enablers, people that are essentially saying, yes, I will go along with that, but there's absolutely no control. There's no hierarchy that says these people are in control.
Yeah. Let's look at it from a slightly different perspective. What is the difference between, for example, someone who's a boss,
yep,
to someone who's trying to control?
So the boss is in control.
Correct.
And look, there's a whole different game there as well too, where bosses abdicate control. But if you are looking at your supervisor, your team leader, these are the people that are the conductor of the orchestra.
Correct.
You look to them for the way the music is flowing, the way that the work is supposed to be going, what sequence we're doing it in, what your job is, and that then dovetails with somebody else's job. This is all part of the supervisor/boss situation.
Yep.
It's when you have somebody who's parallel to you in that organizational ranking, or even below you, who suddenly starts making you feel accountable to them about what you're doing. And look, sometimes you need to know, when's this project going to be finished, because my project is dependent on that one. That's fair enough.
Yes.
But if it becomes arbitrary, and if it becomes, what's another word for it? Maybe haughty?
Yes.
Then you're dealing with a controller.
Yeah. Talk to me about, and we've seen this in quite a few organizations, those people who micromanage.
Micromanage is another fear. it's literally, there is only one way to do this, and this is the way it is. This is the sequence of events, or this is the tick boxes in this order that need to be ticked off.
Correct, but it's also another form of control.
It is another form of control, and this can happen from the top down, or it can happen from people that you're working with. No, I'm not going to do that now because you need to do this first.
Correct.
And maybe there's an operational need for that to happen, but oftentimes if they're being micromanaged, it really doesn't matter, as long as that particular bit of work is done and you can pass that on to the next person. So micromanagement can be rather it's inflexible, but the inflexibility means that there is no evolution of things that people can say, wow, that was a really good way of doing it. Maybe we can roll that out across the team.
Yep. What are the typical signs that we're in the presence of someone who's a sort of a controller? I mean, I would have thought it's pretty easy to realise from the behaviour, but I just thought, okay,
look, if you're having an interaction with somebody, because you can have a covert controller as well too. If you're having an interaction with somebody, you walk away thinking, now, why are they asking me to do that, and who are they to ask me that?
Yes, correct.
You're probably in the presence of a controller.
Yeah. Let me throw some words to you, like last time.
Yes.
Fear. So they use fear as a means of controlling.
Yes. So from the controller's perspective, their fear is that if things aren't running the way that they see them to be run, that something that they've got a vested interest in will fall apart. What they're trying to do is engender a fear into the person who they hope to become the enabler, by turning them into saying, well, look, there are unspecified dire circumstances or consequences if you don't answer my question. Which a lot of people get, and this is an element of bullying, a lot of people get subtly bullied into, where they go, oh, okay, right, well, no problems, and then automatically you fall into the enabler category.
Correct.
Now, if you do that consciously and you say, okay, I choose to do this, fine.
Yes.
But if you get railroaded and knee-jerked into it, then you're in a controller-enabler situation.
Dominate meetings.
They do. Look, let's leave it at that.
And I like this quote, it's their way or the highway.
Yes,
so if you don't, exactly. They tend not to be active listeners. Would you agree on that?
Sorry, what did you say?
They tend not to. I fell for that one.
Absolutely. And active listening means not just hearing the words. It means actually understanding what the implication of the words means. So a lot of controllers go, and then they proceed to lay out the world according to their view. So that is actually a really big sign.
Well, they could say but as well.
Yes.
Which negates everything what happened spoken before.
And if they're really sophisticated, they won't say but, they'll say and.
Oh, okay. Alrighty. Okay. Let's take it to another higher level. Could they be vindictive?
Yes. Again, let's go back to the police academy example. When Proctor doesn't get his ways, he plans his revenge.
Yes.
So there's that capability quite definitely.
Yep. I wanted to tie off the idea you just mentioned of maybe the difference between controlling and bullying, because bullying also could be some form of control. Correct?
It is. It's a very it's a very rough form of control.
Yeah, it is a rough form.
You can get subtle controllers, and then you can get the rough end of the stick.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think are the risks to the organization by someone who's somewhat or quite a bit plays this type of game, a controlling game?
In an organization, you actually hire people for their individual talents and their individual insights. Everybody comes to an organization and brings something to the table. By trying to shut down that capability, your organization as a whole tends to lose out on the incredible talent and creativity and innovation. That's a really good word. Innovation that diverse opinions can bring to a situation.
Oh, that I totally agree. I mean, they're very much in terms of shutting down other points of view, because again, it's it's not their views, it's not their comfort, and it's breaching their certainty. So
yeah. So, it gets back to that statement you said before, it's my way or the highway. Well, that is such it may work. It may work now, but will it work in 6 months, 6 years, whatever time? Everybody needs to be in an evolving community, especially in this day and age where we just have to dance on the crests of the waves, basically.
Yeah. A side question, and that's just maybe as an opinion, because we've seen a lot of views of, for example, Steve Jobs being the CEO of Apple, being somewhat controlling or very controlling. Is that the sort of consensus that a lot of people would agree with that?
Yes, and I think everybody will also agree that Steve Jobs was the boss.
Yes, correct. So let's wrap it up. What is the key takeaway from a person that behaves in a controlling manner, or the game that they play? So
controlling can be overt or covert. Overt controllers are pretty much self-identifying. If you are in a controller environment, it's especially if somebody who does it in a very nice, polite, politically correct fashion. Feel inside. It is a self-internal assessment. Am I actually feeling like I'm doing something that I'm in alignment with, or am I just doing it to get along? If you do it to get along, then do it consciously, so that you're not in an enablement situation, because the next time around you're not going to automatically go into that yes set, that yes pattern.
Yes, correct.
Which is the quickest way to fall into an enabling pattern, but you'll go, hang on, I'm looking at this and standing it on its own merits.
Yep, correct. Great. So with that, we thank you for listening and watching us. The next episode, which is episode 7, is the Underminer game, which is going to be a really interesting topic.
Better get my hard hat on.
Exactly. So stay tuned and see you next time.